ॐ गीता सुगीता कर्तव्या किमन्यैः शास्त्रविस्तरैः या स्वयं पद्मनाभस्य मुखपद्मविनिसृता. Let's make Gita Sugita. Let's make this divine song well sung by all of us, which means may we study this sincerely and may we go to the depths of understanding of this great teaching by Padmanabha, from whose Mukha Padma this celestial song came out. In this 8th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, we came up to the 14th verse. The 14th verse answers a question that every one of us would have in our mind, that is, all philosophy is fine, but what is it that we have to do? What is the action point? We hear and it's good to hear, good to know, but what has fallen on our lap in the form of a kartavya? Chapter 8, verse 14 says, Yo mam smarati nityasha. I highlighted this quarter second, that is second pada in the shloka in the last class also. Yo mam smarati nityasha, which means whoever thinks of me constantly, all the time, whenever possible, wherever possible. In the Christian tradition, some brother Lawrence wrote a book. After practicing it literally, he came out with a book, I guess, and the title itself is very meaningful. Practicing presence of God. Brother Lawrence, in some monastery, in some seminary, in some kind of facility, had to do varieties of jobs. But whatever job he was doing, he visualized God to be just by his side. He always thought of presence of God right around him, right by his side. What a powerful spiritual practice it is. So we say, Smarati Nityashaha. In this chapter itself, in an earlier verse, didn't Bhagavan Sri Krishna say, Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Mam Anusmara Yudhyacha. Over there too, I had highlighted Mam Anusmara Yudhyacha. The second quarter of the shloka over there and the second quarter of the shloka over here. Yo Mam Smarati Nityashaha. If we remember God all the time, all the negativities will just flee one by one, sometimes in large groups too. Ananya Cheta, both by heart and head, we got to approach God. We should not remember God for the namesake, while actually our mind is somewhere else. Mind should not go anywhere else. Na anya iti ananya. Ananya chetaha. As though that's not enough, Sri Krishna adds satatam, constantly. Then tasya aham sulabha partha. Please know that the context has been of the time of dying. And we never know when we die. Someone very close to us other day died on her 46th birthday. Can you imagine? 46th birthday, the lady, I can imagine, the house might have already had a certain atmosphere of celebrating her 46th birthday. But that birthday ended up as her day of moving on. Sri Krishna would say nobody died, but for her husband and daughter and relatives and friends, she is no more available. For we, the mortals, do not have the eyes to see that she is up here, she is on her journey to another role that God gives her in His larger scheme. We don't know. Is 46 a time to die? If some of us are 72, somebody among us is 56, we imagine, I'm only 56. Well, my mother lived till 78, so I also have 22 years left. My father went on up to 73. I again have so many years, so we calculate. But what age your mother went, at what age your father went, has no bearing on when you will go. Therefore, though the context is of what we must do at the time of dying, the implication is do it now, now itself. Then reaching that divinity is sulabha, easy. Hey Partha, the word Partha means son of Pritha, but also it has a connection, I suppose, with the word Prithvi. Prithvi, the earth, son of the soil, son of the earth. Dear Arjuna, right now you are the son of the earth, but in your true nature, you are not limited to the earth. You are a spiritual being who can be anywhere. The entire universe is yours. All the lokas are yours. Vedanta goes to the extent of saying that if you realize you are pure consciousness, all the lokas are within you. You are not in any particular loka, world, or planet, or some other system. All of them are in you. Space and time are in you if you know who you are. But in your present identification with a certain body, oh, you are on the earth. Partha, O son of the earth, please know your spiritual glory by far exceeds the earth, the heavens, and everything. Nitya yuktasya yoginaha. We must be united, yogi, and you must be united constantly. Nitya yukta. Adi Shankaracharya gives a brief commentary. Kincha, kincha. Don't think it is some Chinese name. There might be a name kincha in China, but here it is Sanskrit. Kincha means moreover, further, ananya chetaha na anya vishaye chetaha yasya saha ayam. Such a person whose chetaha, mind, anya vishaye na gacchati. As you and I truly advance in our inner purity, anywhere and everywhere, our mind rests in God. People were taking Sri Ramakrishna by, I guess those days, a horse-driven cart. And by mistake, they went into some road in Kolkata. By mistake, that was not the plan. They entered into some road and then they realized, oh my God, this is where all the prostitutes live. And as though that was not enough, there were some women from the balconies of some buildings making some gestures, inviting people going on the road, come. Sri Ramakrishna also saw some women in those balconies. It's recorded. And Ramakrishna smiled, went into ecstasy and screamed, oh, I see Mother Kali here also. My Divine Mother is here also. He was in great joy. No wonder many people thought of him as Pagal. Pagal in Hindi means mad. Many people thought he was off his senses. His mind was not working properly. Realizing little that he actually was very often in superconscious state. अन्य विषये चेतः न गच्छति यस्य इति सः अयम् अनन्य चेताः. He is united, therefore he is yogi. Satatam, sarvada, always, at all time. Yo mam parameshwaram smarati nityashaha. Yo mam smarati nityashaha. Underline it. Sometimes after reading Bhagavad Geetā, a number of times too, they come and ask, all this Vedanta, very good, high philosophy, but it's not clear what is the sadhana you and I should do. Krishna, it is explained, it is explicitly said, Smarati Nityashaha. Remember God lovingly, always. Nityashaha. Satatam iti nairantaryam uchyate. Nityashaha iti dirgha kalatvam uchyate. Bhagavan Bhāshyakara explains the two words, lest somebody should imagine that is a repetition. It is not. Satatam shows the dimension of no gap. Don't remember God for 2 minutes and then suddenly, oh, something interesting has come on the WhatsApp. This party or that party has composed a very interesting song as a part of their election campaign, and that song is very good, very, very interesting, humorous also. Let me watch that for some time. And then after some time, that song was not as good as I had imagined. I wasted my time. So let me come back to remembrance of God. Then in between there was an antara between remembrance of God here and remembrance of God there. In between there was an antara. There should be no such antara. Sri Ramakrishna have said this 100 times, told us, when one hand of yours is at work, that means even when you are at work, hold God with the second hand. And when your work is over, hold God with both the hands. What a sweet instruction. Don't leave God any time at all. No gap. Nairantaryam, nirantarasya bhavaha, nairantaryam. Then what is the second word? Nityashaha, dirgha kalatvam. So a certain quality and certain quantity also. Both have their own place. Both have their own importance. Though Pujya Swami Chinmayananji, out of his compassion, used to tell devotees, don't worry about the length of meditation. Even if you meditate for 5 minutes in the morning, good enough. Let there be depth. Don't worry about the length. Be concerned with the depth. 5 minutes, but deeply you feel the love for God. He said it, that's in a context. But actually, as far as possible, you and I should attempt both depth and length. दीर्घकालत्वं नित्यशः इति शब्देन उच्यते न षण्मासं संवत्सरं वा किं तर्हि यावज्जीवम्. Don't say, in 1999, I went to Uttarkashi and I did lot of meditation for 6 months. Then we asked this lady, oh really, that's very good. Then afterwards, another 25 years have passed. What did you do in these 25 years? Oh, I have been wanting to go back there because here in this town, sadhana is not possible. I want to go again to Uttarkashi. 25 years you forgot God? I didn't forget, he says, or she says. But that kind of, maybe Shankaracharya knew this kind of specimens also are there in this world. 25 years ago at some holy place they meditated and even now they claim what a good person they are. Na Shanmasam, not 6 months, na Samvatsaram, not even a whole year. Yavat Jivam, as long as you are alive. Nairantarya, there too, without giving any interval in between. Yomam Smarati Ityartaha, Tasya Yoginaham Sulabha, Sukhena Labhyaha. Sukhena, easily got. He Partha Nityayuktasya Sada Samahita Chittasya Yogina. The whole problem with most of us is we think, oh, what will happen if for just half an hour I indulge in sense pleasures? Half an hour I'll enjoy some good food, half an hour I'll get into discussion of money and other things, half an hour some entertainment, half an hour, a little while only. After that I'm coming back. Whom are you deceiving? The Shankaracharya says, Samahita Chittasya. Let your mind be focused. Let your mind be gathered, collected, fixed. Some and dhana. Dha means to place, to keep. Adhana, collect it from everywhere and place it very well. Some means very well. Some samyagrupena, samantat, sarvabhyah digbhyah. Pull it back from all the directions. Sometimes the mind wants to go towards money from the direction where money is, bring it back. Sometimes sense pleasures, bring it back. Sometimes some political ambition, suddenly out of the blue, to think, is it a good idea to enter politics? Such and such party is doing well these days. This is the best time to get into that party. And I will go up and up. In a couple of years, they will give, if not MP ticket, MLA ticket, I will get. So the mind goes on a trip of imagining sitting on a chair of power, of position. All these are different directions. And then there are some respectable directions in spirituality. There was some sadhu in Bangalore who went on saying, I want a break from all this Vedanta, all this spiritual work. Where do you want to go? He wanted to go, if I remember right, to a town in Punjab called Hoshiarpur. I want to go to Hoshiarpur. He was a Kannada person from Karnataka only. But why you want to go to Hoshiarpur? Maybe he had gone once and seen. Hoshiarpur, there is some very nice place run by Arya Samaj. You know how in Punjab and surrounding areas, Arya Samaj is quite active. So they are everywhere in the country, but more so Arya Samaj. So why does he want to go to Arya Samaj? Being a follower of Adi Shankaracharya, Vedanta, Arya Samaj does not accept all this Advaita Vedanta. Swami Dayananda Saraswati, the founder of Arya Samaj, I guess some 250 years ago, put aside even Upanishads. That is God's will. God wanted him to focus on something else. He, in fact, went deep into what we call not Vedanta, but Veda Purva, Karma, Upasana, various Homa, Havana, various hymns, stutis, which praise gods. He went into certain lifestyle, taught the lifestyle of Vedic wisdom, and he, in fact, forbade idol worship. To move away from idols, you don't have to go to Christianity, Islam, or Judaism. Within the scope of religions that flowered on the Indian soil, we have Arya Samaj, where they don't do idol worship. There are many other uh, institutions. Our country, India, has been the host for numerous schools of thought, numerous religions. So, Hoshiarpur, this Swami wanted to go. That time he was a brahmachari, I remember. This brahmachari wanted to go. But his organization and someone above him did not let him go. But finally, after several years of his expressing that desire, they said, go. After all that, he did not go. Chanchalamana. Some excuse again, he said. Now, I have become older. And I had that spirit when I was enthusiastic, when I was energetic, you did not let me go. What's the point in your asking me to go now? Now I have developed some backache or some health problem, etc. Anyway, what is that respectable distraction? I didn't mention the main point. In Hoshiarpur, that ashram or spiritual institution run by Arya Samaj was offering a vigorous course in Panini's Ashtadhyayi, Panini's sutras covering all aspects of Sanskrit Vyakaran, grammar, has 8 chapters. So it is called Ashtadhyayi, all sutras, and with or without the help of Lagu Siddhanta Kaumudi. There are Vyakyanas, there are Bhashyas, there are so many allied literature, and there are some teachers who say don't use any of those. So shortcuts are not good. They teach the sutras, short sutras. Sandhi, Samasa, Vibhakti, everything is in the form of some sutras. If you understand those sutras, aphorisms, you will have a much deeper knowledge and precise knowledge than reading all these popular books which define the Sandhi, Samasa. Very interesting. I have not studied, but one or two sutras I know. Iko Yanachi. That looks again like a Japanese name or Chinese name. Yanachi must be. Is that one of the prime ministers, former prime ministers of Japan? You may ask. No. Iko Yanachi is a sutra which defines Yan Sandhi. E, E, U, U, and those. When they meet with dissimilar vowel, E should not meet with E only, but or A or all those. Then Yan is a code for Yaralava. So yara lava gets substituted. So iti plus api becomes ityapi. Guru plus adi becomes gurvadi, work comes. So interesting. Eco energy. Anyway, so if you say I'm going to North India, South Indian says, I want to go North India and study for 2 years, immerse myself in Panini's Vyakarana. So a lot of other sadhus raise their eyebrows. Wow, that's a good desire. Afterwards, when you come back, you will be far ahead of us. All the Shankara Bhāshya, etc., will be so easy for you. Read. You not only understand the word, you know how the word is formed, how the word has a particular significance. But he never went. He never went to Hoshiarpur. Though so many chances came later on for him. No, don't allow the mind to go anywhere. If there is such a powerful urge, go and study and come back. But you neither are here nor there. Shankaracharya says, Samahita Chittasya. Then there is another variety who always talk about going somewhere. They don't know where, but they are no one saying we must go somewhere and deeply study Vedanta itself, maybe. But somehow they wait for somebody to take them, some situation to arise, some institution to call them, or maybe some condition at their place of stay where it's no more possible to remain, then they go. But otherwise, lack of sankalpa. Yataha evam ataha ananyachetaha san. San means being single pointed. Mai sada samahito bhavet. All said and done, the doubting Thomas in every one of us says, okay, if we do this, what will happen? Shankaracharya, on behalf of all those doubters, says, Tava saulabhyena kim syat. Sri Krishna said, Tasyaham sulabhaha. Sulabhasya bhavaha saulabhya. Sulabha is adjective. I am easy to get, easy. Adjective. The ease with which God can be God is saulabhya. Tava saulabhyena, your being easy for us to get, kim syat, what do we get? Chate, listen. Uchyate means it is said now. Shranutat mama saulabhyena yad bhavati. Arjuna, listen to yad bhavati. What will happen when I become very easy to acquire, get, or get near? When I become easy to get near, what will we get? Shranu, listen. The 15th we enter. Mamupetya punarjanma दुःखालयमशाश्वतम् आप्नुवन्ति महात्मानः संसिद्धिं परमां गताः माम् उपेत्य. Upetya means approaching, coming near me. Now we are far from God. If we get near God, we experience God's presence right next to us, right within us. Mam upetya. Bhagavan Sri Krishna first highlights ending of rebirth, ending of reincarnation. Punarjanma na apnuvanti. To attain God is to put an end to this business of again, born again, born again, born again. Let's say you are a professor of chemistry in a leading university. To die, then you are born again. And even when you are third third grade or fifth grade, teachers are surprised. You hear something, then you say, oh, that is chloride, chlorine, and this is hydrogen. Yeah, yeah, two molecules of hydrogen and one molecule of oxygen make a molecule of water. How does this third standard boy know all this? This comes much later in the school curriculum. He talks about complicated stuff. Or he picks up a book, and when teachers praise him, parents admire him, the whole town looks at him, this boy is a prodigal child, and so on. There's an excitement. I'm special. I'm above others, and so on. For a little of that excitement, for a little of that joy, that pleasure, that enjoyment in life, all of us have a lot of enjoyment. We have memories, we have sweet memories. We have so much of when we look back. But when you see the whole of life, which is more? Insecurity, hurt, pain, sense of being let down. Whole lot of, oh, why go for the past right now, at this moment itself? Examine your antakarana inside you. You find that there is some happiness, but typically, sometimes there are exceptions. Typically, for a little of happiness, there is a lot of sorrow. Therefore, this Punarjanma is not by itself a problem, but it implies again this package deal. A little happiness, but a whole lot of problems. There are some who have, in a manner of saying, a lot of happiness, everything is fine for themselves. Both husband and wife are doing well, really. But then they have some problem related to their children. Or some don't have don't have children at all. That is their sorrow. We are okay, but we wish we had a child, had a daughter, we had a son. We are okay, but our daughter is not settling. She hasn't got a job, though she is so qualified. Our son is not getting a proper companion, something or the other. So we find this Janma, being born again, is such a package deal where sorrow is more than happiness. Then, as we get older, without our expecting it, we get into some disease, some ailment. Oh, it is Punarjanma, therefore, it's not just being born again. Some people, without thinking much, say, "Oh, why should we be afraid of being born again? I'm ready to come again and again, any number of times. I don't mind being born in the same town." Somebody in Bombay said, I don't mind coming back again. I would love to be in Bombay again. I would love to be in Ghatkopar again. I would love to be in Ghatkopar West again. I would love to be in some colony and some crazy. They're saying, I'm so happy here. At that time, he had perhaps some happiness. Foolish person, he has forgotten or he is not recalling the whole scenario of what being embodied implies. Moment we have a body, moment we have a body, the body entails so many issues. Therefore, it's not just being born, but it is again getting into this human life, or for that matter, life in any other body, where there are endlessly some challenges or the other. Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. The Buddha said this some centuries later, if not couple of thousands years later. Sri Krishna had said, at the time of Mahabharata, the midst of Bhagavad Geetā, this life with a body, this embodied existence, so to say, is Dukkhalaya. It's a place of so much of sorrow. Dukkhasya alaya. It's a repository of unhappiness. And though here and there we have some enjoyments, ashashvatam. No enjoyment remains forever. Go up and then we come down. Some go up honestly, then come down because of some purva karma. It's like they have not done anything wrong. Some others go up and then because they went up by some foul means, some scandal about them is exposed, then they fall. The rise and fall of so and so in business, in relationships, in their own securing a job, they would have shown some false degree certificates. And after 20 years, someone blows the whistle. This person doesn't have all that knowledge. We must check again whether he really had passed MSc, whether he had really done MBA. When they check, they go to the university, the institute where he had claimed he had. They say, no, that particular year there was nobody with this name who got the degree from our institution. Then everything is cancelled. He may go to jail. He has to pay back the companies so much salary he drew. So, ashashvatam. Happiness attained through right means or wrong means. Either way, it doesn't stay forever. Shashvatam. Those who reach me, punarjanma na apnuvanti. Janma Shabda is Janman. Therefore, don't think there is a printing mistake here. Puran Janmam. Some people have a habit of adding everywhere. Doesn't come with the words Janma, Karma. These are all in the so-called Dvitiya Vibhakti also they are Janma, Karma. Janma Janmani Janmani. Janma Janmani Janmani. Second Vibhakti. Karma Karmani Karmani. Karma Karmani Karmani. So, some of you who know a little grammar would find it interesting. Punarjanma is Kriya Vibhakti, object of this Apnuvanti. They don't get a second birth. They get liberated from the cycle of birth and death. They are indeed Mahatma. Mahatma. Everybody wants to be a Mahatma. They don't know the inner secret. In order to become Mahatma, Maha means big, right? Want to be a big Atma, your ego should become zero. When the ego becomes zero, spiritually speaking, you become a hero. So the connection between zero and infinity was long back discovered in spirituality. But today in maths also they say any number divided by zero is infinite. X by y, and the y becomes less and less and less, x by y increases. 100 by 2, 100 by 10, 100 by, and so on. Instead, if you reduce, if you increase 100 by 2, increase, the value becomes less. If you decrease, 100 by 1, 100 by half is 200, 100 by 1/4 is 400, 100 by 0.1 becomes 1000. So make the denominators less, less, less. Maths, they talk about limit functions. Denominator goes closer, closer, and closer to 0, then the value of x by y goes closer, closer, and closer to infinity. So lesser the ego, greater is our value, our happiness. Mahatmana. Pujya Swami Chinmayananji made an equation for happiness, formula for happiness. Desires fulfilled divided by desires entertained. Foolish worldly people try to increase the numerator. They want to fulfill more and more desires. They make what they call a bucket list. I want to have my own house. I want to have my own car. I want to have my own long list. I want to go once at least to England and once at least to America and once at least to Japan, once at least to Australia. I am like that. And then two fulfilled out of 100, three fulfilled, five fulfilled. By the time they cross the 20, they are very old. Chinmayananji says spiritual approach is different. Some genuine desires are unavoidable, but otherwise you reduce the denominator. Instead of having 100 desires and then crying that I could not even fulfill 30% of my desires, only 30 I fulfilled, 70 desires remain unfulfilled, and so on. Why don't you question, do some vichara? Do I need a car? Do I need a big house? Do I need to go abroad? Do I need this? Do I need that? Sometimes the whole family don't need, but because of confusion. Sometimes husband imagines that the wife needs a diamond necklace. One day finally she shouts at him, I never wanted, I don't want. Why are you unnecessarily feeling bad about not getting me a diamond necklace? He's surprised. Really? I thought you wanted. Didn't you say once? Once in some fancy I might have said. All I want is we should live peacefully under this roof. I have no other desire. Many wives, many husbands, many children, very often they declare from the rooftop, I don't need anything material. But the other person continues, no, she is saying just to make me relax, but actually she needs. His belief. Anyway. So Swami Chinmayananji's simple formula is through inquiry, through satsanga, through spiritual practices, you can actually put an end to some desire which has troubled you from the time you are born. From your earliest years that you could remember, the particular desire, particular urge, particular impulse, particular vasana might have been bothering you and made you suffer so much, maybe. But through satsanga, through practicing presence of God, through constant remembrance of God, even the strongest vasana will get weaker and then vanish. Then when the denominator vanishes, I have no desires. It has gone closer to zero. Even if the numerator is a small number like 3 or 4, 3 by 0.00000001 makes it 3 followed by 0.00003 million, or the value increases. So spirituality says, not by suppression or some artificiality, but through appreciation of God, of divine truths, reduce the denominator. But then why do Swamis also build huge spiritual organizations? And some of them are so rich. The ashrams are so rich. And temples they build, and then the God has diamond necklace. And wait, don't judge anybody hastily. If the Swami or some spiritual person really is genuine, then all that she or he builds totally for social good. Next moment, tomorrow morning, Sadhu is ready to leave it all and walk away. He is not attached. And it is God's will that he happened to build an organization for taking spiritual wisdom and spiritual practices to larger and larger number of people. So Krishna says here, to reach me is ending of rebirth and sansiddhim paramam gataha. Such yogis have attained a certain inner accomplishment, inner maturity. They have fine-tuned their own consciousness to such a high level. They are indeed blessed. They are indeed dhanya. Sanskrit, the word dhanya means blessed. There is a whole dhanyashtakam, 8 verses. Who are dhanyas? There it is said, dhanyas are those who have let go of all desires, who dwell in Brahman. Mahatmanah sansiddhim paramam gata. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.